So to peel the skins of tomatoes, you need to put an X on the bottom and submerge them in hot water for about 30 seconds. My tomatoes are all different shapes and sizes and textures, and that's simply because they're my own homegrown. But if you use store-bought, they'll be a little bit more uniform, and you'll be able to determine how much you need better than I was. So here they are in the water. You can also have a ice bath on the side, but I did not. As you'll see, the skins will start to get shriveled and it will start to basically peel on its own and want to separate. So I will show one more, a little bit more up close so you can see what it looks like. I'm gonna just put them on the cutting board, but you can put them in the ice bath, and I'm just gonna let them cool and come back. So this is very easy. Once you peel the tomatoes, you add in some diced green bell and red bell, or you can just do green bells or just red bells as the recipe states. You need some tomato paste, and you're going to see me add in the other ingredients, which are oregano, parsley, basil, bay leaf, Worcestershire, garlic. They called for canola or vegetable oil. I don't keep that on hand, so I use grapeseed oil because it doesn't change the acidity, and it also has a high smoke point, which is very important because we are going to be canning this in a water bath canner for 40 minutes. You aren't able to use a steam canner for this, so I didn't. We also added in sugar and salt. I'm leaving the onions to last because I don't want to have any of the crying. And I'm going to add the tomatoes last because I have some that I have to chop up and some that I had frozen that I'm going to have to break up and portion out. And I don't have a core, so I just cut around the top of the tomato and I just leave a little middle part, and that would be the core. So I portioned it out. You're going to need 12 cups. This is a small batch recipe, which I don't grow tomatoes on a large scale, so I need small batch recipes, and that's why I also freeze them as I get them. Make sure you check the description for the recipe, and here I am adding in the onions last. So let me say, I was wondering if this process was going to be worth making 4 quarts of my own sauce, but the smell of this, if it tastes like it smells, it will be worth it, and I'm sure we're never gonna want to go back to store-bought. So I hope we're ready for this. It started to boil, so now I'm gonna put it on low and I'm gonna let it simmer for an hour, and we will come back and put in our jars. And during the last 5 minutes, I went ahead and started to get the water bath canner hot with the jars in and the lids. Okay, so I have just taken these jars out. They're still nice and warm. I took them out of the water bath canner and just threw the water back in there. So now I'm going to ladle this in. But first, I actually have to add some lemon juice. Whenever you have water bath can tomatoes, you need to do that. So let me go get the lemon juice. So we are going to add 2 tablespoons to each of the corks before ladling in our mixture. Now, I'm not exactly sure if I will use all 4 jars, but I'll go ahead and pre-add all of them in here. You always want to use bottled lemon juice when you're canning. I ran out, so just make sure you always have extras of your canning materials, especially. I had to come back because my children were getting a little bit unruly. But you always want to make sure that you have your lemon juice, vinegars, or any other important ingredients that you use on a daily basis when you can. You have to take out the bay leaf, which I just did it when I found it. And you just ladle the mixture into the jars. Now you can decide to use a blender or immersion blender to get it finer, but I actually like the different chunks and everything, so I didn't do that here. And we're going to fill it up to 1/2 inch headspace. The headspace is going to be crucial for anything that you can. I got the air bubbles out, and then I used a little ladder, as I call it, to make sure that I had the right headspace. Then you wipe off around the jars. Just always be careful when you're dealing with a hot jar. And I like to have the towel underneath, simply because you see there's a lot of spills. And then you just put it on just to arm tightness, and then it's ready to go into the canner. Now our jar is in the water bath canner, and we're going to let it come to a rolling boil. but I just wanted to show you the highest step is 1 inch, and so it is more than an inch. And so the water level is perfect. Here is our rolling boil. We're gonna start the timer. So it is now time to finally take the jars out. I am just so pleased with it. I did taste the jar that did not have enough in it, and it tastes really good. I encourage you all to make your own sauce. At least try this recipe. It is amazing. If you have your own tomatoes, definitely use it for some sauce. It won't go the longest, but it tastes delicious. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Every week I'll upload videos on cooking or canning, gardening, and storage or prepping ideas. If that interests you, stay tuned. A little bit about my family. We are on a little less than 1/4 of an acre. It's on 7B near Memphis, Tennessee. I'm a stay-at-home Christian mother, doing what I can with the gardening, preserving, raising animals to try to feed our family. And I bring you along with me. So I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.